I'm Aishwarya Ramakrishnan. I'm a Microsoft 365 consultant with the Tata Consultancy Services. And Swami, you want to introduce yourself and also project your screen? Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much. Hope my voice is clear and the screen is also visible.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, Swami.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So thanks everyone for your valuable time Saturday morning. So my name is Swaminathan Sriram. I'm a Microsoft 365 and SharePoint consultant working with TCS currently. And these are my social handles where post the session we could get connected and further discuss in and around Microsoft 365 topics wherever required. And today we are going to start with our interesting session to cover about capturing and recording feedback for IT tickets from Microsoft Teams, predominantly Teams being the end user touchpoint for providing feedback for IT tickets. So with that, I'll move on with the agenda, which we are going to cover. We have an interesting lineup of items today to cover, both from the concept perspective, plus the demo which we have planned to showcase how this feedback would be triggered and captured within the Teams platform. So here we'll start off with the Microsoft Teams extensibility introduction, what the platform provides us today as of today, and how we are going to leverage the ServiceNow platform APIs to consume the typical IT ticket information from Azure function to proactively reach out to the end users who have actually created the tickets and present them with an adaptive card, which is going to help them to understand what kind of resolution information was provided by the engineer, and right away approve the ticket and provide the feedback with a simple smiley emoji based setup. And they can also provide an additional line about how the service was rendered to them. And we use the platform APIs again to go back into ServiceNow and update the feedback in an automated fashion, where it's going to be a seamless experience for the end user as well as the support engineer. So with that, I'll jump on with the basics of the extensibility capability which Microsoft Teams provide us today. So if you look at Teams is no more only chat platform or a meeting platform. It provides us a powerful and extensible set of touch points and capabilities where we could extend it and we could build a conversational and collaboration experience in and around Teams to help end users to actually prevent them from doing multiple context switches, to give them the relevant information via a conversation experience into Teams, plus also help them to connect with multiple line of business applications they might usually interact day in and day out, and help them to achieve everything wherever possible within Teams, where the platform has become intelligent today. And if you look at the different extensibility points which the platform provides, it provides a kind of tab experience where we could surface rich content as well as a SharePoint framework based solutions. So you could have a simple your website or a portal page embedded into Teams, a kind of tab setup, or it could be a very complex a functionality built setup where you build a specific experience for a specific persona user and you make it available within Teams. Both kind of possibilities the platform provides us to build. Secondly, the bot setup where we can build a complete conversational experience for the end user by making use of Azure Bot Framework, the latest and greatest of the cognitive service which the Azure platform provides, and give an experience to the end user, right from being a simple notification conversation experience to actual transaction based setup which we could enable within the Teams, right from for each and every user. So it could be either a desktop experience or a mobile experience or a web experience the user might be interacting. So the same kind of experience we can deliver it in any touch point they are currently using. And thirdly, the messaging extension feature where we could allow users to query a set of third-party API or application and bring the contextual information for them to start their conversation within a Teams channel or a group chat or be it a personal chat, and also have a kind of adaptive card experience where it pre-populates the necessary information, mentions the user, and connect to different users easily rather than jumping into multiple applications to gather a simple set of update or an information. Fourthly, the platform also provides us the webhooks and connectors a capability where we could post rich updates to channels consuming from a third-party system. And also there are 250 plus built-in connectors which we could just install it and make it available for a team context or a specific for a specific requirement, and uh, create that seamless connectivity between multiple line of business applications. And all these kind of experience within the conversational space, we could make use of adaptive card where we could build the rich interaction feature for the end users as well as the type of persona we are building. And also we do have an adaptive card designer interface available where we could design our card specifically for teams, which kind of version we are trying to build, and accordingly create the different functionalities, take the JSON, and put it part of our implementation journey. Fourthly, we could also have a kind of capability where we can engage users via their Teams activity feed by mentioning the user or giving them the relevant updates properly on time so that they get the relevant information before a critical business meeting they might end up attending, rather than they going in search of multiple updates, etc. And all these experiences we could make use of the built-in intelligence which Microsoft Graphs provides within the M365 platform, not just the Teams context within multiple services and apps which Microsoft 365 has today. We could connect to this graph service, get the relevant information, also do a kind of two-way operations into the platform via these APIs and drive productivity wherever required. And finally, all these extensibility features which we build, we could also build it and publish it into the App Store. Thereby, it's going to be available for every user across the globe, or just to a certain company store, or to just our company, or to a specific customer. We are providing our services to their a default directory, a specific scope as well we could build. So multiple scope possibilities also the platform provides depending on what type of feature and what type of requirement we are building for that user or customer. So with that, today's our session pretty much focuses into the bot feature, making use of a rich adaptive card where we actually proactively reach out to the user who has created a ticket and send them the necessary feedback card, capture the feedback and store it back to the service now. And we are going to double click into the bot and adaptive card a little bit more, just a few minutes more to understand what we can do with a bot, with a specific Teams bot where it enables us to send or receive files within the bot experience. And we could also interact with an user both in private chat scope as well as a Teams chat scope, depending on what kind of scope we are defining for that particular experience. And we could have a multiple structured command setup enabled for that experience we build. And it supports Bot Builder 4.0 SDK support. So if we are used to building a typical bot experience for some other channel right now, we could also bring it into Teams and make it available and compatible for a kind of Teams application we are building. And this bot experience is what we are also going to cover in our demo after a couple of slides when we double click into what kind of solution component and solution, a high level architecture we have built for our demo today. So where we can connect the dots and understand. And next into the adaptive cards. So here, if you look at, as I mentioned a couple of minutes back, Microsoft has a website in this URL, https adaptivecards.io/designer, where the actual adaptive card experience can be built. This URL, you can make a note of it. Also, we'll quickly show a preview of how it looks so that the different experience for be it a dark mode or a simple a plain mode we could build for the end user, and we can send it from a bot or a messaging extension and the adaptive card which we built for a specific requirement. And users can take a typical quick action, like they can provide a comment, or they can select an option, they can set a date, they can do an approval, or they can also connect with a third-party system where actually this data flows into another system via the APIs, which gets consumed into our implementation experience. And one good thing is it supports across multiple Microsoft canvases, Teams, Outlook, and Windows. So depending on which medium the user is going to use, they're going to become convenient and familiar, and it's going to be a good user experience end of the day for the user interacting and connecting with an adaptive card. So we have built a simple adaptive card today, which also we'll show you how that looks and how the feedback is captured and again stored back to the service now. So with that, I'll quickly pass on the control to Aishwarya to double click into the solution which we are going to demo today. The typical Teams as well as the Azure components, which is part of our core solution before we move to the demo session. Over to you, Aishwarya.
Sure. Thanks, Swami, for the introduction. Hope I am loud and clear. Otherwise, please let me know on the chat thread. So here, in today's context, we're going to take a persona of a user who's logged on an IT ticket in service desk, and here the service desk tool that we are going to focus on is ServiceNow, right? So the user has raised an incident in ServiceNow. And the ServiceNow engineer has kind of, resolved the ticket. And what typically happens is we kind of forget, and we have to log on to ServiceNow to actually go and track it, right? So, or sometimes an email gets triggered and it kind of gets lost, and we're not really sure what's there. What we're trying to achieve is we get a notification on Teams where the user is constantly logged on. That the ticket is resolved, and you could also provide some feedback, right? So based on how you felt, whether the ticket was moving fast or there were hiccups in it, so you could actually provide feedback that gets recorded in ServiceNow. Typically, when we provide IT ticket feedback, right? So in organizations, the way they implement it is they take only a percentage of the tickets that are logged, and they ask for feedback. However, with this capability, you could actually increase that. You could send out notifications on Teams and gather a lot more contextualized feedback, and it's not a big form, right? So we're going to be showing you how easy it could be for a user to provide feedback. So in terms of the overview, it's a bot that we have hosted on Azure. And when we are also storing some of the configuration items, like, so here in this case the bot is going to proactively send a notification to the user. So we need the conversation references stored. For that purpose, we are using the Azure table storage, and the notifications are triggered in a timely fashion. So right now we have scheduled it to run every 1 minute to pick up all the tickets that are resolved in ServiceNow and send a notification. So for that, we are using Azure function. And for consuming data and putting data into ServiceNow, we are using ServiceNow's REST API interface that is available, right? So, and this is the bot is going to be in personal scope. So that's the quick overview of the various components in play, in the solution that we're going to demonstrate now. Swami, maybe we could move on to the next slide. Right. So to begin with, all the dev setup, for what we are showing, we are using, Visual Studio, to develop the bot. It's a, C# based bot, and we have the Azure infrastructure and all that. Which typically, if you're accustomed to developing bots, you would already have that setup. While that is said, the bot can also be, written in, other platforms. In our case, we have taken, C# as the base. It's a .NET based bot. The additional thing that one would need to get this done is the ServiceNow developer subscription, which is free, right? So I have provided the URL, and I believe Sani has also given the URL in the chat thread. You could go and do it. You could go and have a look at it. So let me quickly share my screen. Yeah. So So when you go to this ServiceNow, a developer instance, so you can actually sign up and start building. It's for free. The instance that you create stays as long as you keep using it continuously. So you just need to provide your details and kind of sign up for an instance. ServiceNow is also a SaaS based platform. So they do have different versions of this, but I think when you sign up, you get the latest version. So with that, I think we would now jump on to the demonstration. Maybe Swami. So in this demonstration, Swami would play the role of an engineer who is actually or someone who's actually raising a ticket, and he would be logged on to Teams, while I would show you the resolution from a IT support desk perspective, and you would see the notification come in. We'll do this for about a few minutes, and then we'll jump through the code to look at how we are doing. Swami, over to you.
Sure. So I have shared my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So as an end user, so we have created a developer subscription within the ServiceNow portal, and I'm going to play the role of an end user, where I'll go and create a ticket within ServiceNow to start with, a simple ticket.
So this is the ServiceNow interface, that you're getting. Most of you might be using it at your organization. Yeah, so you just go and provide the short description or the mandatory fields, and yeah.
And I just go and create a ticket.
Right. So the incident number is 62, as you have seen. Now I would quickly log in and show the admin view for this. So I'm going to be looking at incidents here. So it shows me. So I'm logged in as the admin or basically the resolver, right? So you see that the ticket that Swami has created is here with me, and what I would be going is I would go and state the change. I mean, change the state to resolve, and provide some mandatory resolution information. I'm going to change the this one. Please check now. The service has been restored, right? So, and I do this, and I kind of put my name here, and I resolve the ticket. So once I resolve the incident, behind the scene, the Azure function that we have created would run, and that would basically trigger the notification. And I believe, Swami, can you share your screen and show the notification? This is a runtime notification.
I have shared my screen. So this is my Teams interface. So the ticket I have already created, and the service engineer has also resolved the ticket and provided the feedback. So I'm waiting for the notification to be delivered to my Teams canvas itself. So where we have a kind of personal app for the end user. So we'll explain maybe once after the notification is received. So if you look at now, the ITSM app, so this is a bot which proactively has reached out to me and sent a card, adaptive card. So if you look at the card, it gives a brief about what incident number I had created, what is the description, and what was the resolution code that was given by the engineer. So it could be a paragraph or a simple line as well. Whatever gets stored within ServiceNow, we pull it from there and we populate to the card and push it to the end user, and they could get a glimpse of it and provide their feedback right away from here. It could be a simple they click on S and the card expands. They could provide whatever feedback they would like to. I'll give prompt response and I click on submit. So what happens once we select the feedback and submit this particular ticket, backend, it goes back to the ServiceNow and it records the feedback, whatever the user has provided for this ticket, and it gets automatically saved to the ticket. So it also says your feedback has been successfully recorded. Now, if we go back to the ticket and refresh it, 62 is the ticket which I had created. So now if you look at, we have a set of additional custom columns created within the ServiceNow incident table, which has a provision for the feedback to be stored. So whatever I had given there with the sentiment also captured, depending on the smiley which the user selects, and the feedback initiated time also gets stored. So on top now, what happens once these details automatically get stored from ServiceNow, the different reporting formalities can take precedence from here, and depending on the sentiment and feedback, they could further improvise and better their services, whichever they are rendering as of today. So and all this information automatically gets stored, so where there is no intervention manually required for the support engineer to reach out to the user, ask them to go to multiple forms to give their feedback, etc. and all. Just a simple to their team's delivery happens of the adaptive card, where they could select it and do it right away, be it from their mobile device through the Teams app, or a web experience or the client experience from the desktop. So this is what this experience provides. Now I'll quickly go back to the app. So if you look at the end user, from the end user perspective, there is going to be a Microsoft Teams custom app, personal scoped app. So ideally, it is going to be available in the left-hand side rail for the end user. So two options are available. As an organization, we could set up a policy and automatically install it to all users of the organization, depending on how and what type of policies the organization might have as of today. Or it could also be a provision for the end user, where they could go to the Teams app store and install it and make it available on their own. Two kind of possibilities can be done depending on the requirement. We are trying to deploy it to an user or an organization. So if you look at it as a personal scoped app, maybe quickly I can show it in the App Studio. In the manifest editor, sorry, I have to go to the apps interface, and within the apps interface, I search for ITSM. This is the ITSM app. So currently, we have made it available to all the users of the organization, so they could go and search it, and they can install it right from this interface from their Teams canvas, and immediately it becomes available. So once they initially install, what happens? We actually capture a set of information of the end user. Why we need to capture that information? For the conversation related parameter. So when we trigger a proactive notification from Azure function, there is a mandate that there are few parameters which we need to provide while we actually reach out, before we reach out to a user, so that by default in a Teams platform, without this information, the platform doesn't allow any service or any function to reach out to multiple users at any point of time. So these are called conversation starter parameters. So ideally, these set of parameters would be available whenever a user is going to install this particular app. So once this app is installed, an event conversation update event gets triggered. So within that event, we actually capture the conversation starter parameters. And as Aishwarya explained in the architecture, so these parameters is what we will have to store it within an Azure storage or Azure SQL, or it could even be a SharePoint online site collection of that particular tenant, where you could store these information. And this information is what will be required from an Azure function to proactively reach out to a user and to notify that user with whatever type of information we are trying to provide to that user. Maybe Aishwarya, can you share your screen and we can go into the
Sure.
Now?
Right. So I would now want to go through the code. So you can see that I have a solution here. So there is one which is the Azure function, and then we have the bot, right? So I'll first quickly open up the Azure function and walk you through the steps that we are performing to get to this. So right. So here we are we're kind of having initializing all the variables. So the core logic is this, right? So we are trying to get the tickets which were resolved in say the past 30 minutes, right? So we are making a REST query to ServiceNow API, where we're getting all the data, I mean, all the tickets and the necessary columns that we want to display using this REST API. And I actually have a configuration file where I'm storing the, instance, the URL for ServiceNow instance. And I'm also providing the details of the, Azure storage, table where we are storing the configuration. So like Swami mentioned, right? So I need to know, the bot needs to understand, which user is this notification to be sent. And for that, I need to have the conversation, handle the conversation between the bot and the user. And that is what gets stored, in this table. And this is actually not stored, within the scope of the function, but when you actually install the bot, right? So in the user scope. So that step is a prerequisite, and I'll talk about that in a while. So, I get a handle to this, and I also have the Snow instance URL. So I'm kind of going to, get all the tickets that were resolved. I'm making a, REST call. I am getting the JSON for all the, tickets that are resolved, and I'm kind of iterating through them and getting all the data that I need to display in the feedback card, and I am actually sending the feedback. So this is the method that goes and sends the card. So if you look at it, I am actually creating a card at runtime. So I'm getting handled the connection, the conversation reference from the database, right? So that I'm getting from this method. So where I'm passing, let me just go to this. Right, so I'm looking up at the Azure, table storage, getting all the data back from the table storage for the users, and then I am kind of, let me go back to this. Yeah, so for each of those users, I now have the conversation reference, and I'm creating a message, and in that message, I'm actually adding this feedback card, right? So and then I'm sending it to them. And let me quickly go and show you what how I'm formulating the card. Yeah, so I'm programmatically creating the card. It's not a JSON that I'm referencing. So I'm programmatically creating the card using the various constructs available in the SDK. And I'm kind of, using the details from the ServiceNow tickets, and I'm formulating the card. And in the card, I have, I have an action, adaptive action component, which kind of mentions that this is going to be a feedback, data that we're getting, right? So this is important because we are using this when we, in the bot, we are using this to actually get the user data and push it to ServiceNow, right? So when they click on the feedback. So that's what we are doing here. And, if you look at it, once I'm done with sending the adaptive card to the user, I'm also storing in ServiceNow a note that I have already sent notification to this user. We don't, so that we don't have to send them again and again. The next time the function runs, we are actually looking up whether the feedback has been initiated once. If it's been initiated, we do not send the prompt to the user again, right? So that's with the Azure function. Now I'll open up the bot code and I'll explain a few things here. So it's talking about getting the reference to the user, right? So the conversation data that we have to store in Azure for a lookup later on, that we are doing in members added function. So here, whenever a user adds a bot to the personal scope, we are kind of getting all the details that we need, and which is basically the conversation ID, the activity ID, service URL, recipient ID, which bot is it from, right? And if it's a channel scope, what is the channel ID, conversation ID, and stuff, right? So we are making a note of all this, and we are making a call to the Azure, table storage, and we are inserting it there, right? So I'll quickly now jump over and show you how that looks, right? So here is my Azure table storage. Where I'm storing all the conversation reference. You can see that here. So there is a M365 demo user, and this is the reference which we would be storing, right? So coming back to this one. So Right. So the next method I want to walk you through is the on-message activity sync, which is actually where when you click on the card, right, when you're providing the feedback and say yes, no, okay, you saw the 3 emojis, right? So when you click on that, you remember the card that we sent had this feedback as a data value. So I am kind of looking up that and I'm extracting the comment from the card, whatever the user had provided, and I'm again using the ServiceNow API to make a call, and I'm updating a specific column, which is my feedback and feedback sentiment column, right? So, and I'm kind of closing this thread, and I'm thanking the user for the feedback, right? So here, if you look at the settings, again here I'm having to store the Snow instance URL so that I can make a call, and yeah, so that's pretty much on this front. And when I go back to this one, so we have deployed the solution, the bot on Azure App Service, and yeah, so we had created or registered a bot on Azure bot channel, and you'd already looked at the storage where we're doing this. So with that, the code snippet or the overall solution, is complete. Now I would probably, take a quick pause and look for any questions that the audience might have.
Yes, Ashura, thank you so much. I think there is one question which Pranam has asked. Do you need Azure subscription for the bot solution implementation within Teams? Is there an alternative to this?
Right. So, Pranam, right. So we need Azure to register your bot. Okay. We used to be able to bypass this. We had what's called a dev bot framework, but right now I believe everything is merged and you have to register the bot in Azure. And the hosting of your bot service per se can be anywhere. So all you need is an internet accessible URL for the bot endpoint to be reachable from Teams. So that can be anywhere. Your Azure function can be even hosted as a scheduled job on your desktop, right? Doesn't matter as long as it can connect to ServiceNow, consume the data, and push the notification to the user. It can be hosted anywhere. It doesn't have to be on Azure. However, the bot registration has to be done within the Azure framework, because right now I don't believe Teams has the capability to look up at a bot that is registered outside Azure. So the registration. So basically, when you click on the app, it looks at that Azure bot channel registration for this app ID and understands which endpoint it needs to hit or send the messages from the bot to, right? So for that you would need Azure, Pranam.
Yeah, the channel registration mandatorily Azure is required. And also nowadays, like I think the dev.bot framework, whatever you create a bot there also, it actually now it registers within your Azure service only. So that also whatever new bot you create, it's going to be Azure only going forward.
Yeah. But the bot per se, like I said, I want to make it clear. The whatever code you saw in the message, activity and all, right. So that can be hosted anywhere. It can be on AWS. It can be on your local host. As long as it is exposed to internet, it can be anywhere. But the bot channel registration, I believe, has to happen only on Azure. Any other questions anyone had? I think we are on time for the next session to begin.
Yeah, so we can have 5 to 10 minutes more. So if you want to conventing, you can.
Right. So from our end, I think we are done, Jay. So we had wanted to showcase a demo of how you can integrate ServiceNow,
Okay.
Teams and the code walkthrough. Unless anyone has a specific question, I believe I am done. Swami.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
The adaptive card designer also I'll pass it on in the chat so that users can go there and explore. Participants can.
Right.
Yeah, with respect to the code, I think we'll share it after this session. Yeah.
Okay. I think, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Aishwarya, and thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. And I would like to thank the organizers of this event. I think it's a great job. Thank you for giving us an opportunity.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, all the organizers.
Yeah.
And thanks everyone for your time on Saturday morning. Have a great day.